Welcome to the 411 Sports World Podcast, where we give you the real sports talk, whether it's football, basketball, tennis, sports lines, debates. You want it? We've got it. We give you clear, concise sports knowledge between rivalries, surprise teams facing big tests, and some flat-out key games. We provide plenty of intrigue. Today is Tuesday, October 27, 2015. Thanks for joining us on the 411 Sports World Podcast. And now, introducing the panel of experts, the calculator, T-Rock, Lacy Dawson.
Ciao.
And your host, Mr. 411. Again, thanks for joining us.
All right. Welcome to the 411 Sports World Podcast. Mm-hmm. I'm Mr. 411. In the office with me tonight, we have the calculator and Lacy Dawson. What's going on?
Good.
Hey, feeling good, Mr. 411, feeling good. Ready to talk fantasy football.
Yeah. Man, It is fantasy football. We're in the middle of the fantasy football season, guys.
It just flies by.
Yeah, man,
it does.
Man, we wait all year for it, and then as soon as it hits, it's like halfway over.
Yep.
It does it to us every year.
Every year.
But you know what? There's another fantasy world started up, and fantasy basketball is on the way. So, we can let that get to rolling. But we definitely hot and heavy in fantasy football right now. And, T-Rock is in the building.
Oh, wow.
And he will make his appearance.
Must he?
So all of T-Rock Nation, all of Pat's Nation, all of Ohio State Nation, don't fret. He will be here.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, speaking of the NBA, I know we're heavy into football, guys, but since the season has just opened, last night was opening act. We had a couple games played last night, and then it's a full slate of action tonight. Before we get into football, calculator, Lacy?
Yeah.
Let everybody know, what are you looking forward to with the upcoming NBA season?
Lacy, you want to go first?
I'm not. Well, I'll go first, but I'm not really looking forward to a whole lot at this point. It's the season's just getting started, and that's a long season for real. So, got some fantasy basketball leagues going on, so I'm looking forward to winning those. But at this point, it's going to take some time, at least a month to figure out, where people are. They're coming back off vacation. See what's going on. Let's see how bad my Knicks are doing after a month. So, it's an exciting time, but there's still enough football for me. So I'm holding off on any real excitement about basketball until after the new year. So.
All right. Well, Christmas lineup is when it it kind of kicks off real big then. But for the basketball junkies, we a lot of us are excited. And hey, look, football's on Thursday night and then Sunday. So now we have something going on every night.
Every night.
My goodness.
I hope y'all do realize that there are people that have a life and have stuff to do on the other nights. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, watch basketball.
That's too much. No, thank you.
And for me, man, watching the Mets, and boy, they let me down last night. But we'll talk about it.
They played a good game. Don't I like the Mets too. I'm a New Yorker.
Yeah.
But they'll take it. They're playing tonight too.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, calculator, what you looking forward to this upcoming NBA season?
Well, I've always been a Tim Duncan fan.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing a transition from him to LaMarcus Aldridge and how he fits in with, him being kind of like the man the whole time, going from a team where it was almost like a two-man team to a full team with and see how he fits with Greg Popovich and how that molds together, and to see if they can, if they can keep their continuity going and just being one of the better teams, and seeing also being a Hawks fan. I'm a Hawks fan as well, being in the being from in the Georgia area, and seeing if they can continue with what they did, surprising everybody last year, to see if they can continue playing their type of ball. So just looking to see how those two teams, not only they do, but also want to see if the Cavaliers can continue to build on their late season success and be the dominant team that a lot of people predicted them to be. And most of all, I want to see how things turn out in the Western Division of the NBA with all those good teams, just to see who's gonna make it through the bloodbath season to make it to the playoffs. And then to watch the West just beat up on each other. That's pretty fun to watch. I mean, as a fan. Yeah. But that's the main thing I'm looking forward to. Not only my teams, but to see what happens out west with all those good teams out there.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how the Clippers are going to rebound from that tough out last year. They finally beat the Spurs and then end up losing to the Rockets. After being up by 17 in the fourth quarter. I want to see how they bounce back. DeAndre Jordan left and came back, but technically never left. But, that whole fiasco, I want to see how that pans out. I want to see if Kobe Bryant and my Lakers can at least be respectable this year. And I will say this, Lacy. I would love to see the Knicks in the playoffs. That would be.
So would I.
That would be exciting to at least have them in the first round and possibly playing Cleveland. That would be interesting just to have that atmosphere.
Why would that be interesting? That wouldn't be interesting.
Well,
we don't want that.
Spike Lee needs somebody to yell at. So I think LeBron on the court, Spike Lee there. That would be exciting. So we will see how it all pans out. And but they're just starting. But what's been really rolling is fantasy football.
Yes,
and,
sir.
Man, this past weekend, did we have some studs and duds, ladies and gentlemen?
We did.
Yes, did we? Well, let's get into it. Let's get into these studs and duds for the listeners. Calculator.
Yes.
Kick it off.
Absolutely. With my stud quarterback, the guy I'm going to pick out is a Ryan Tannehill for the Miami Dolphins. Get this. Tannehill got rolling quickly as the Dolphins beat the Texans. He threw 4 touchdown passes in just the first half, finishing the day 18 of 19 for 282 yards. He and the Miami offense cruised in the second half, but they should be geared up for a Thursday night matchup with the Patriots. Love me some Ryan Tannehill. About time. It looks like the coaching change actually has reinvigorated Tannehill, and looks like he can hopefully he'll be able to continue going in what looks to be a shootout this Thursday night. My quarterback dud, going to pick out Matt Ryan for the Falcons. Yeah, man. The Falcons scratched out a win over the Titans 10-7, but Ryan's overall numbers were far from great. He ended up going 22 of 38, 251 yards, but threw a pair of interceptions and just 1 touchdown pass. And what looked to be, on paper, that looked to be a good matchup. Playing the Tennessee Titans, you're licking your chops when you see that on paper, but it just didn't come to fruition. It looks like Matt Ryan's going to struggling, and hopefully Julio Jones will be able to get him out of his funk, with his upcoming matchup against the Buccaneers. Moving on to the running back stud position, I'm going to keep with the Miami Dolphin theme. Lamar Miller. Monster game, piling up fantasy points in the first half as the Dolphins ran away in that matchup with the Titans. He scored a pair of touchdowns, one rushing, 1 receiving. He finished with 175 yards on 14 carries and 61 yards on 3 catches, which equals to 230 all-purpose yards. Miller is way more involved in the offense with Dan Campbell at the helm, so he should remain a strong play in the coming weeks. Again, coaching change has reinvigorated the Dolphins' offense right now.
Who knew? Yeah.
Who knew? I mean, just a simple coaching change.
New attitude.
Yeah, and I think he did. He that tough mentality. People, it's just it wasn't that the other guy was a good coach. I think they weren't responding to his kind of this like the same old song. They just needed a new voice.
Right.
In the running back dud position, I'm going to pick on Alfred Morris again. We've talked about he's been on this list all year long. He did virtually nothing in the Redskins' comeback win, finishing with 5 yards, 6 carries, 2 yards on his only catch. Folks, if you had Alfred Morris, believe it or not, it's safe to release him. Okay, safe to release him. I mean, he is. If you are, even with the bye weeks coming up, I would pick out anybody on the waiver wire that could get at least a couple catches, and he's gonna help you out with over Alfred Morris. Alfred Morris, you are a dud. Wow. Okay, to the wide receiver position. Welcome to Fantasyland, T.Y. Hilton. Hilton and Andrew Luck had nothing going early, but surged at the end of the game before ultimately falling 27-21 to the Saints. Hilton caught a pair of touchdown passes while hauling in 4 catches for 150 yards on his whopping 15 targets. It definitely wasn't an efficient day for Hilton, but his final numbers were good enough for his fantasy owners. I have said this on more than one occasion, folks. Garbage time is golden. We love garbage points, okay? And it looks like with that Indy terrible defense, they'll be in plenty of catch-up mode for the year to go. So, T.Y. Hilton, thank you for saving a lot of people's fantasy week with that late surge in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
On the dud list, I'm going to go with Julian Edelman at the wide receiver position. The Patriots' top wide receiver had to deal with his former teammate on Revis Island, and he dropped a short touchdown while putting together a pretty rough stat line. He had 5 catches, 54 yards, but should bounce back against the Dolphins on Thursday. But for many, he was a letdown for his fantasy owners this week. And I'm sure, some people could say 50 for 54 is a good stat line, but not for people that have been, Edelman's been continually getting you close to 20 points a week. So I think a lot of people, but you had to go in with your eyes open on that. You had to kind of see that he was going on Revis Island, and some people may not have started him. I don't know, but a lot of people who had Edelman, you started him anyways and hoped for the best, and got a little over 10 points on PPR leagues, but no touchdowns. To the tight end position, we're going to go with the studs for Jordan Reed. I didn't even know he was going to play, to tell you the truth. I mean, he was off and on. He was on the injury report all week. Yep. And for those people that made a late addition, they were rewarded. He hauled in a pair of touchdowns, including the game-winning score and his return from a concussion. He pulled in 11 of his 13 targets for 72 yards. Jordan Reed, welcome back to Fantasyland. On the flip side, my dud, I'm going with Julius Thomas. A lot of people got excited when he first come back. It's like, oh no, he's finally back. He's looking like his old self. Hey, the Jags tight end looked good last week with 7 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown. Unfortunately, he couldn't get anything going this week. Had 1 catch, 4 yards. Man. Thank you for nothing, Mr. Julius Thomas. And that is the calculator's studs and duds for this week.
All right. It's time for Lacy.
Okay. Well, I'm listening to the calculator. I'm listening to him. I'm marking off a lot of the people that are on my list.
That's fine. Yeah.
So I'm going to have to try to go in a different direction. I'd say for studs running back, Mr. McFadden. Hello.
Hey.
Where have you been? He had the kind of game fantasy owners have been dreaming about for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had it now, and he did it against the Giants. So that's impressive. Whether he can repeat that feat is that's another story. Dallas has got Seattle this week, so I wouldn't get my hopes up if I were McFadden owner, but I would hold on to him. That's for sure, because it looks like Randall is injured, or he's just not getting the attention, and so it looks like McFadden is the flavor of the week, probably for at least a couple of weeks. So he performed at a stud level, and it was nice to see that. There's a couple of people I know that Mr. 411 is going to talk about, so I'm going to leave him alone, and I'm going to leave him alone. There's some people that we talked about on the waiver wire last week that performed really well. One of those was from Mr. 411. I'll let him talk about that. I'll talk about the one I suggested, which was Ladarius Green.
And did you nail that one or what?
He did a good job. I wish I owned him, but no. Still, he had a great week. And some of the other positions, surprisingly, Washington quarterback stud. Where does that come from?
Yeah.
I was, when I looked at the numbers, I said, wait, I had to refresh to make sure that it was correct. I did.
Yeah, was RG3 playing?
And it was not RG3.
Wow.
So, that was a good week for Washington. I believe they're on a bye this week, though, so we can't really see how they're going to follow that up. But
right.
I don't know if anybody would have started that guy. I don't think so. But, had you taken that chance, you would have definitely been rewarded. Now, I have another I have a guy that I have as a stud and a dud at the same time, if that makes any sense. It will when I tell you who it is. It's Arian Foster.
Oh yeah.
He had his best game of the year.
Best game of the year.
For all the people that have patiently hung on to him and nursed him along and said, okay, I can finally feel confident in putting you into my lineup. He goes and does you proud, and then he's out for the season. Here it is, week 7, and he is done.
Yep.
And I know anybody that drafted him, had to wait on him and had to know that he has a glass chin, so it was going to be a short stint, but who knew it was going to be this short? And that is just he was a stud, and now he is a true dud. So, speaking of, I hate to be negative. I really do. But there's a couple of people. Ryan Matthews, it looks like he's emerging as the stud for Philly as opposed to DeMarco Murray, who continues to fade. He's just not living up to, I don't know what the issue is. I know he's supposed to be, semi-healthy, but this is, compared to last year, there's just no comparison. And people drafted him really high with high expectations, and that's just a shame.
Yeah.
But even though I said I hate to be negative, I got to talk about these duds. The dud of the week for me at quarterback has got to be Colin Kaepernick.
Oh my goodness!
With a total of 4 fantasy points from a quarterback. Ouch. Yeah. And he's followed closely by Eli and Sam Bradford and Nick Foles. It's terrible. Eli.
And they won the game.
I don't know how, but I'm glad about that part. But ooh. And thanks to Eli, the wide receiver dud, it's your boy John, Odell Beckham Jr.
Eli's killing him.
Eli's killing him, and you got to go down with that ship. It's unfortunate because there's a lot of talent there, but maybe there's a Peyton, maybe there's a Manning thing going on where they've got some kind of virus. I don't know what's going on because they both have it.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry, I got one more running back stud, and I have to hand it to him, Mr. Ellington.
Oh man.
No, thank you. Please
Wait,
go
and the
away.
thing, and Lacy, what the thing about Ellington is the man's healthy. Okay, the man's healthy, and he's not even getting touches until the third quarter or the fourth quarter. I mean, the fourth.
I don't. Yeah.
Chris Johnson is he's not that good, but he's out there performing.
He's looking like a stud.
He's looking like a stud because of that offensive line. Ellington, let me tell you, a lot of those runs that Chris Johnson is breaking off, Ellington scores on those plays.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're trying
maybe Ellington used to score on those.
He's
been scoring lately.
Yeah, that's true. So, and it's unfortunate because when he's healthy, He's so explosive. But I think Arizona is just kind of saving him. I really do. I think that Arizona's limiting his touch. Yeah, because they don't want him to get hurt, because you know how fragile he is.
So they're going to go ahead and use up Chris Johnson.
Hey, if Chris Johnson just keep running, they're going to run that joker into the ground, and then come to playoffs, Andre Ellington is going to be nice and fresh. And that's what I've been reading on the message boards when a lot of people are saying, why is the more talented back not getting the touches? And they're saying, well, they Chris Johnson, they can run him now, and then keep Ellington fresh for the playoffs.
So from a fantasy standpoint, Andre Ellington should be dead to you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Unless now, if Chris Johnson gets hurt, talk is they're going to give David Johnson more work rather than Andre Ellington, because they really said everything I've been reading is saying Andre Ellington is the guy they're going to use once playoff time gets. So fantasy players, beware. You might be finding Andre Ellington on the waiver wire. Well, you might not want to take that chance. Just waiting on him to come.
Okay. As far as, I think, let's see, I'm looking at my list to make